Hello, this is Off the Record, a podcast brought to you by the Valdosta Daily Times. I'm Dalton, and this is my co-person Desiree.
Hey.
Today on Off the Record, we're on the record with Taking Meds, a mathy punk band from Rochester, New York. Do you think you guys could introduce yourselves for me?
Yeah, I'm Skylar.
I'm Ben.
Cool. So, y'all have been on tour, and it's been a crazy week this week. And I know that people are kind of tired of hearing and talking about the coronavirus, but I feel like we should at least touch on it a little bit. And, you know, you guys can talk on it as much as you want to. But how is, like, all this affecting you guys right now?
I remember when, before the tour started, people were talking about canceling it. And we were like, nah, it'll probably be fine. Let's go out. And then over the course of 4 days, it went from like some of the bands are dropping to like half of the bands are dropping to like all the bands are dropping. At least the ones that were going to be in Texas for the week that we were going to be there for South by. So then we were kind of like some of the last ones that were still going to go there. And we've had about 50% of our remaining shows just cancel. So, yeah, we're thinking about going home too.
Yeah. South by was like one of the first things that canceled too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's like
They canceled way before everything else.
Yeah.
In terms of the current timeline, they had a week jump on like everything else.
Mm-hmm. We're like living in a completely different reality than we were in like Monday.
Yeah.
Everything's changed. Did you guys, I guess like, are you going to be able to make it home? Like,
Yeah,
it should be fine.
We'll be alright.
If you have to go home?
That's the thing, is like, we were supposed to play Lafayette, Louisiana tonight. That canceled, so the show after that is in Houston. And that's 11 hours in the opposite direction of home. So it's like, the farther we go into this, the more difficult it would be to get home.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, and we're counting on the fact that show's still happening. You know, any of these shows could cancel last minute.
Right.
And we're afraid of that.
They could cancel
Exactly.
when we're halfway to Houston, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then you spend all that money getting there and...
Yeah, to like, you know...
On top of just like the health risks and everything.
Right.
And
Right, it's... Yeah, you can't help but... like think every time you have a headache or something that you're like, because I don't know, man. The other thing is I keep reading articles and it's like, oh, there's 50 deaths in Washington State, but only 500 cases, and it's only supposed to be like a smaller percentage, a smaller ratio there. So how many cases are unreported? So it's like, I don't know, dude. Like if you want, you can scare the shit out of yourself, you know.
It's a really weird time. Like I've been reporting on it so much that I woke up today and I was like, does my throat hurt? I don't think it actually hurt. But you know, it's in your brain. You're just thinking about it.
Yeah.
You're like, God, this, you know, what if I'm secretly dying and I just don't know?
Yeah.
But you know, we're part of the people who, I am, where we're working from home for the next couple weeks. Like I'm having to report and talk over the phone, and I went to a press conference where I had to elbow bump people instead of handshake, and I was like, this is really awkward, like, doing this. But, so that was the show last night, though. Was there still a good turnout?
Yeah, the show was great last night.
Good.
Yeah, I think for like a Friday night, it seemed kind of light though. Like
Yeah,
there was more people there the first time we played there, but
yeah,
understandable.
It was still right. It was still good, like considering the fact that all this is going on and everything.
Yeah. I wonder if there's no way to know, but like I wonder if people didn't come because one of the bands dropped, or if people didn't come because they're just staying in.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the latter, you know.
Mm-hmm. It could be both. I mean, like when a band drops, it's like, oh, maybe this is a real fear. Maybe I should stay home.
yeah.
Right.
Because Nice was the band that dropped last night.
Right.
How did you guys like get this tour with Nice?
We have the same booking agent.
Oh, okay.
And we're friends with them too.
Yeah. I've seen like their pictures and stuff. They have Taking Med shirts on and everything.
Yeah, they're our homies.
Cool. Are they from New York? They're from Minneapolis, right?
Minneapolis.
Yeah. How did you guys like cross paths? Just the booking agent?
I booked a tour. Our South by tour last year went through Minneapolis, and someone put me in touch with Roddy, who sings in Nice. And Roddy booked us a show in Minneapolis, and then we like became friends there. And then last summer, we did 3 shows with them on our full U.S. We did like Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minneapolis with them. Elgin, Illinois, I think, and then Milwaukee and Minneapolis, and we were supposed to play with them in Minneapolis on this run, and it was going to be a really good show, I think, but canceled. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's the thing, man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, sorry.
It's so good.
It is.
Stay in your homes.
Like I said, just our regular reporting has gone out the window. So like everything I would normally write about, they're like, nah, we're just doing this like straight. So it's been a heck, because all of our schools shut down and stuff. So like,
Yeah, it's shut down everywhere, right?
yeah. Across, I know the whole state of Georgia, the whole state of Florida, a bunch of other states, have shut down for like 2 weeks. So that's where we're at. But we can stop talking about all that unhappy stuff and jump on to just a bit about your music, kind of how you guys came together, how long you've been together.
Sure. Well, Ben and I grew up in Honeoye Falls, New York, which is a suburb of Rochester. Went to high school together, middle school and high school. Played in different bands in high school until the very end. We started a hardcore band called Blunt Force Trauma. And then what?
This guy went off to college, and
I went to college. Yeah, Ben started Such Gold. I joined Such Gold.
yeah,
We've pretty much been playing music together for like 13 years or something.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Such Gold is like such a different like sounding band than like Taking Meds, in like my opinion, I guess. But like, how did that like transition happen? Like, where did this come about? Like Taking Meds.
Well, I've played guitar for a long time, and like I was writing a lot of riffs when I didn't think they would work with Such Gold as well. Such Gold was kind of a particular type of thing, and I was just singing, not playing at the time, so I was just kind of itching to have an instrument in my hands, and Sky was like, start a new band, and that's sort of what happened. I think starting like 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So and you were the lead singer of Such Gold, right?
Yeah.
So like, I guess where did you come in with Such Gold? What were you doing?
Played guitar.
You played guitar. Okay, cool. And so like, were you guys like writing songs together like for Taking Meds while you were in Such Gold?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It was just sort of a way to put some of these guitar riffs into like songs, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
release it, like-
And I mean, I think Skylar has always had a lot of vocal ideas, so it was just
Okay.
sort of a good chance to get some of these ideas that we're both spewing out. You
Yeah,
know?
that's cool.
So where did the name come from?
Taking Meds.
Yeah.
We were watching a Talking Heads documentary, and I think Ben said it as a joke. And then we were trying to think of a name, and I was like, that should be the name. So then, yeah.
Well,
I'm really happy you say that, because like every time I wear a Taking Meds shirt, that's the first thing it gets mistaken for is Talking Heads.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks is...
they're better than us.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat Talking Heads.
Yeah. Yeah. That they're better, and that they're a legacy act. And no, just people call us Talking Meds a lot, like in earnest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, that's kind of annoying, but that's only started happening. Like, I've only started noticing that this year.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people don't make the connection, so it's just like, it's not, I feel like it's not too referential where it's like cheesy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not I don't know, I'm not gonna put any names
Yeah,
on blast, but you know what I mean? Like where you're like, really, that's what you're gonna call your band?
Ooh.
Like a stupid pun or something, you know? So
I
don't know.
Yeah, it just makes you feel like you're dyslexic or something when you're reading it and you're like,
that's how I want you to feel.
It's just make you that's not good. Sorry to our dyslexic listeners.
Just make you uncomfortable. Got it.
So
how many tours have you guys done together?
Plenty. Like,
enough.
I always ask because I like to know, like, if you guys secretly hate each other now, like, if there's just built up animosity, if you're slapping each other when you leave.
I think we passed that point.
Okay.
I mean, I'd say maybe, like, when we were touring together in Such Gold, I don't think we really ever butted heads, maybe a couple times.
Me and you personally?
Yeah.
No.
I think I yelled at you one time when I lost my record, but that was just like me getting my frustration out. You
yelled at everybody, though.
Yeah.
I didn't take it personally.
And then I was like, I'm sorry.
We've butted heads pretty rarely, but we've also, I don't know, I feel like there's always other people involved, so me and Ben have always had the most in common, so it's like kind of on a team a little bit, I guess. I don't know. We've had plenty of opportunities to decide to not play with each other anymore. Yeah,
that's good.
It's usually cool. I think for when we were younger, we probably accomplished it by just like, and still, you just like know when to communicate and when to just shut up and like wait it out, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just knowing each other for a long time. You know? Yeah,
no, that makes perfect sense.
How much music do you guys have out now? Like, how much have you released over these years as Taking Meds?
As Taking Meds,
2 full lengths.
2 full lengths.
A
demo, and then like a...
You just put out a cover.
Like a 2-song promo, right? In between the full lengths. We just put out a cover.
Oh.
We have an EP coming out this year. So...
You put out a cover of Night Swimming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, so... You seem to be a huge fan of Michael Stipe from your videos.
Yeah.
Who isn't?
Right, yeah, no, absolutely. Who isn't? Exactly. People here love him. I mean, people here love REM.
Georgia.
They're from, Athens and everything. But you seem like extra passionate, though, I think, than the average person.
Yeah.
At least you're not... Most people aren't taping Michael Stipe's face onto their suitcases and stuff.
Yeah.
Michael Stipe, if you're listening.
Yeah, I mean, do you think he listens to this podcast?
He
I
could.
mean, you know,
it's
maybe
we'll,
maybe we'll just get it far enough out there. Welcome to Georgia.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're listening, nice work.
I think the funniest part about that was, I don't know, after I got the idea that I would just like idol worship Michael Stipe on camera, I was like going through pictures of him and seeing the various stages of facial hair that he's gone through.
Yeah, even like head hair.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Hair.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, I've always liked REM a lot. Yeah. I really like the song Night Swimming. I think it's a perfect song.
So, like, why is that? Why do you love that song so much?
It's a beautiful song. It's like, it's super nostalgic for me because I liked it so much when I was a kid, hanging out with one of my friends from home. We would always listen to it together in the car, like at night when we were like 16, 17, like smoking weed and like looking at the stars and doing all that corny shit that you do when you're that age. But like,
I mean, that's kind of what that song's about, though, right?
Totally. And it's like reminds you of summer and like, yeah, that time in your life, which I look back fondly on that time in my life. And also, it's nostalgic, but it's still a really good song. So it's like double effect for me, you know. But what happened actually is a friend of ours was going to do an REM comp. And I was like, can we do this song? Because it's my favorite REM song. And she was like, yeah, sure. Or they were like, yeah, sure. And
is that still going to happen?
It seemed like it was up in the air. So we were like, okay,
Stupid.
can we just put it out? And they were like, yeah, sure. So we just put it out because we finished it in like, I don't know, last fall.
Yeah. Where'd the album art for it come from? Like the shadowy figures diving in.
I found it.
You just found it?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I hope you got permission. I'm just kidding.
I didn't.
Shout out to whoever made that art.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You also y'all were working on a music video, right, before the tour started?
Yeah.
So what song is going to be in the music video? Can you say?
It's going to be a song from our new EP.
New EP? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So is it going to be kind of like your previous music videos, like same sort of style, or?
Not really. It's still like silly, but it's like a live band. It's like a performance-based video, but like stuff happens during the performance.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of different because I feel like most of our videos, mostly just like a storyline without any performance, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, there's a little bit in the why Stranger Who Stares. It's a little bit of performance,
right.
But yeah, it's still like those skits
Yeah.
and stuff in between.
This is different from that just because it's the storyline and the performance are like completely mashed together.
Oh, cool.
It's not like from two different shoots, you know?
Yeah. And so you guys do all your filming yourselves?
Yeah, well, we have friends that like help us.
Okay.
My friend Luke LeCount, and he's a filmmaker in New York City, and then our friend Brad Bush is he's like a video. He works in he's like a DP on stuff, you know. He's like runs camera, runs video shoots for a living.
Yeah.
So he's got like nice gear. So yeah, we're lucky to have those guys helping us out.
Yeah. I think it's cool that you guys kind of like, you know, it's DIY and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
What are kind of your hopes for the future of the band? Like, where do you guys really hope this will go?
I'm hoping that we can just afford to keep doing this and, you know, potentially get on some better tours, but also just being able to keep doing this maybe with a little more comfort someday would be nice. But
Yeah.
just make it sustainable, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, what do you mean by comfort?
You know, we're not riding too uncomfortable right now, but
Separate.
you know, not
vehicles
having to worry about bills at home as much, and
Yeah.
you know, jobs, and you know, in order to do this, we have to do a lot. So
Yeah.
we don't mind doing that, but if we're talking goals for the future,
Yeah.
No, that's totally fair. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be tight to do it for a living. I mean, don't really make. I don't know. It doesn't really feel like we fit anywhere, so I wouldn't feel like I was betraying anything if we started like, you know, actually making money off of the band. But, who knows? But yeah, I don't know. We talk about it a lot. I mean, I don't think we're gonna be like disappointed in any outcome, but we started this band as a way to kind of like not put limits on ourselves creatively, and I think we would probably have the same philosophy when it comes to like the business end of it, you know. Would be cool to play something big and weird or not, you know, whatever happens. But yeah, for now, you know, in the next couple of years it would be cool to get on some support slots on bigger tours and stuff like that, like Ben said.
Yeah. Who would be like some of your dream bands to play with?
good question.
Yeah. Jawbox would be tight.
Yeah. They played fast.
Yeah.
Like, kind of.
Yeah.
The opening slot on that King Crimson tour.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, that would be so funny if we like became a band that opens for like Primus or something. We could start making our own fedoras.
We just have to write more songs about like tuna fish sandwiches and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
You could get a lot of cross appeal that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Primus fans would be into taking that.
Yeah, we really want to try to like reach the incel crowd, you know.
Yeah, definitely. So it's an untapped market, surely. So, moving on, I guess. You mentioned Jawbox. Y'all played Fest last year. Jawbox played Fest last year.
Yeah.
Was that your first Fest
No.
as Taking Meds?
No.
No, okay. When did you guys first start playing Fest?
We played the past 3 years.
Nice.
So, 2017, I think, was our first year.
And did you play it before as Such Gold?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, like, how long have y'all been going to Fest?
I believe 2010 was the first year that Such Gold went down. So, like, yeah, 10 years. There's been a couple years in between that we didn't make it down, but majority of those years, probably 7 of them, we've gone down. And it's a great time down there. I mean, I would recommend it for anybody who's thinking about it.
So, like, what is it like as, like, a band going down the Fest, especially a band all the way from New York, you know?
Just makes you feel like a kid again, like at the toy store, you know what I mean? There's all these bands that, you know, some bands you grew up listening to, some bands you just found out about, but, like, there's good bands everywhere, and get skate from venue to venue, and see people from all over the world, and you can pretty much, like, meet most people, and they're cool. I mean, don't blame me if you meet someone that's not cool, but, you know, it's a great time.
Yeah. So, do you guys have, like, any... Because you guys do, like, pre-show stuff, too, right? Like, pre-fest stuff?
Yeah.
So, like, do you guys have any, like, cool memories from, like, Fest or, like, some of that pre-fest stuff?
One year I went down to pre-fest by myself because everyone else, I think maybe this was before Taking Meds played, but everyone else was flying in, and I drove down and just did pre-fest by myself and had the best time.
Yeah.
And I was already tired by the time everyone else got in.
How long of a drive is that?
It's a good question. It's pretty far.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
that's
It's a couple days.
I mean, same amount of time it would take to get here, pretty much, right? So,
Yeah.
18 hours.
What have you guys, like, ever been able to, like, meet some of the, like, bigger acts that play at Fest?
Yeah, for sure. One time, my favorite Fest memory was they used to have shows, like unofficial secret shows, like late at night, and they kind of stopped doing that because I think the city was cracking down on it or whatever. But like Braid and Intuit over it, and I think Slingshot Dakota had like the show behind like a warehouse, and the cops shut it down, and like everybody ran from the cops. That was like 2012, I think. That was really fun because it felt, I don't know, running from the cops is fun.
Yeah. So how has, like, Fest changed over the years? Has it gotten, like, more
It's gotten
festy or festival-y, I guess?
a little bit smaller.
Smaller?
I don't know if I don't think it's gotten smaller. I think they've definitely put a ban on a lot of extra shows like that, which is I mean, it's a huge operation to actually run. That must be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think maybe they even have more bands than they did 10 years ago. Like,
True.
I feel like it was like 250 at some point.
They didn't used to have Bo Diddley, right?
They didn't used to have Bo Diddley.
So that's
they
like
have
a
that
big
outdoor
ass
stage.
venue. Yeah.
I don't know. Other than that, in the past 10 years, it feels pretty similar. A couple venues have come and gone, you know. Different bands each year, but it's a good time every year.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think it's just fascinating how, like, we get so many different like people, just like punks from all over the country come to Fest. And even like out of the country, like Germany, Canada, like I met some people from out there, and it's just wild because it's just like such a small little thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, so what was it like coming from New York down to the South, like the first time you did? Because like first time I went up north, I was like, oh God, this is very different. Like I've always grown up in South Georgia, so like the first time I went out, I was like, oh, look at this world out here.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've been going to Florida since I was a kid. A couple
Okay.
times I drove down because I have family down there, and
Yeah.
so I had seen the South. It's definitely different to me, but it was never felt like a whole nother world.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like
Yeah, I feel like I've noticed you notice new things every time, but that way you sort of like get eased into it. So it's like I didn't start like noticing architectural differences until I was like in my later 20s. Because when I was younger, I was just like, we're on tour, let's get drunk, whatever, you know, and like.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. It's never felt like, with the exception of a few places in the United States, I've never been like too shocked, you know.
Yeah.
Where are some of those places that you were culture shocked at?
I think New Orleans looks like nothing you've ever seen, like nothing I've ever seen. That's a good question though.
there's some towns in the South that just have so many churches that it's a little bizarre to me. It's like I don't think it's bizarre going to church. I get a lot of people do that, but it's like
A church
there's
in every
like
corner.
8 in a row. It's like, how do you decide?
I think Valdosta has over 150.
Wow,
Wild.
Crazy.
It's insane. We were just talking about that yesterday because we were discussing like, oh, should we be contacting churches, see if they're still having service right now? And our editor was like, there's over 150. Just don't. We were
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. Never mind.
Definitely remember my first times driving through like Southern Illinois and Ohio and seeing like aggressively anti-abortion and anti-gay marriage billboards and being like, damn. And now it's like, it makes sense like that
Yeah.
they spend their money on that, and I'm not sure why you don't see as much of it in upstate New York, because it's not like it's not like Western New York is like a super liberal place, but
Right.
yeah, I definitely remember being like, oh, this is the Bible Belt. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, if you ever drive from here through part of Florida, you can count the abortion billboards. That's our game.
That
There's so many. It's like that, and then like the Florida billboards with like the baby gators and the oranges on them.
Yeah, there's that. There's also those really like religious ones where they took weird clip art of like Jesus and
Like,
flames, and they're like,
the
which
Walking
side do
Dead
you want?
zombies.
I'll take the flames.
There's that one that just says, after you die, you will meet God. It's kind of a hard billboard.
Yeah.
It's just like black with white letters. Fuck yeah.
Could be a
Really,
cool
I'm
album
Yeah.
sure it's a
cover.
Christian billboard or a
I
hardcore
can't wait
record.
to meet him.
Yeah, where I grew up, there was this big billboard, and it just said like Jesus is coming soon. And I remember as a kid, I was like, "Is he? Like, am I not making it to adulthood?" Like, I was very concerned. I was like, "Oh no, not going to be an adult."
Coming soon to a theater near you.
yeah, that's what it felt like. Like, he's coming soon. Anyway,
Some of that stuff is like from like a fantasy point of view is like really sick. But then the fact that people actually like believe it and like it's like the most important thing in their life is like maybe not as sick, I guess, but yeah.
yeah.
Like
So-
the whole like brace yourself for eternity. It's like yeah.
It's a weird time. There is a Walking Dead zombie looking billboard that's supposed to be like scaring you into Jesus. I don't know. I never understood it. I was like, so if we don't make it to heaven, there are zombies, according to that billboard. We're fighting zombies.
Maybe that's just to appeal to people who like horror movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
like I
maybe if
said,
Jesus was a
fucking
zombie,
sick.
like I'd be into it, you know? Everybody's got their own outlook.
Yeah, exactly. It's like maybe that would be your heaven: fire and zombies and
Yeah,
staying alive, man.
totally. Who am I to say you can't have your own zombie Jesus?
Real quick, we didn't really focus on how many times have you guys come to Valdosta?
This is our second time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, how do you guys feel about us
We
as
love
a
it.
city?
Well, I mean, all we know is the DIY
Right.
house,
So
and
the community there.
it's like it's remarkable, honestly. Like I'm not even just saying that. It's like, wow, these like people just want to see live music. They're stoked, and man, I don't know if I should say this, but like people, I don't know, everybody like buys music there too, and like
Yeah.
it's different than like other places where you play house shows. You're not like, I don't know. I have a really good time here, and it's always. I mean, even like we were just talking about. Like last night was like less attended than the first time we played here, but both were like really, really good house shows where people were like stoked.
Yeah, people here don't realize how nice Valdosta DIY house is in comparison to a lot of other DIY houses.
Well, that's the other thing, and I'm glad you said that, because like he has that place like kind of wired like a real venue.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I noticed this last night when we were playing, but like I could feel the kick drum under my feet on the floor, and I loved that, like, because I didn't even have to like listen for it.
Yeah, it's a bit intimidating sometimes. You're like, oh god, are we gonna fall through?
Dude, I thought it was awesome. But yeah, I mean,
it's like the old masquerade.
He's got that place. There's outlets everywhere, like a real venue. He mics the amps. He has that TV screen that says to follow the touring bands on Instagram that he sets up. Like, it's really, really cool and like deserving of recognition for like all the work that goes into it. The kitchen is the gear room. The living room is where all the merch goes. It's like, it's not cramped. It can hold like a good amount of people for a house show. It's not in a basement where you hit your head, you know.
They even have like that whole like backyard where you can go park and stuff. Like a lot of other places, they don't have that.
Totally.
A lot of venues don't have parking
At
Right.
all. Yeah.
Right.
So to have that at a house venue is pretty wild.
It really is like a weird house because like it's built into those like shopping strips or whatever.
Right.
It's super cool to
Super
have there.
unique.
I'm a little older than Dalton, but you know, whenever I was growing up and stuff, you didn't have like really cool house shows to go to and stuff. You know, we were going to like sketchy basements,
Sure.
alleys, just wherever things were going to happen. Because in the South, it's not very common anyway. I had to like find it. But here in Valdosta, people were kind of starved for a DIY venue for a while.
Yeah.
So I think that really stepped in.
And I wonder if the enthusiasm comes from like, oh, there's somewhere that like this is happening now. So
Right.
like, we don't necessarily care what it is. We don't have to have listened to it before. Like, it's a touring band, so let's go see it.
Yeah.
I think there is probably some of that, I would guess, at
Yeah.
play.
Definitely, I think you're right.
But I think it's also cool when, like, I think a similar thing is happening in, like, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where it's like, hey, like, we've built this scene, and bands start being like, oh, I never heard of that town, but I can tell that we should go there. And, like, the reason that we found out about Valdosta is because there's sweet shows that happen here. That's really cool, you know?
What were like some of the bands that you heard that came here?
Zeta, our friends in Zeta.
Zeta, okay.
Yeah.
That was it. That's okay if that's all.
Man, I'm trying to think, because our last show here was last year, and I think I booked it, and it wasn't through Zeta that I found out, so it had to have been somebody else, but I can't. It's not coming to mind right
That's
now.
okay. Yeah,
But
Zeta's definitely like one of the bigger ones that came through, so that would.
But I mean, since that show, I've seen like postings of like other bands that I know playing there. Like I know that it's like a stop on a lot of circuits now. You know.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how like the DIY community is so like interconnected nationally and not just
Totally.
like in the tiny region. I guess Florida and Georgia sort of, we get a lot of cross paths because Florida's just such an out of the way stop for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So Florida bands come out, but not many people from the north go down into Florida all the time anyway.
Right.
So it's like,
And we don't blame them. Florida's crazy.
yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
We know what's up. Dalton's from Florida, so we just throw him under the bus. But yeah, no, they got some crazy stuff.
It's got its problems.
They have wonderful news stories. Like, Florida Man has done X, Y, and Z, and it's always like, Florida Man stole an alligator from... Yeah.
It's weird how, like, the South is a thing, but then once you go past the South,
There's
even
Florida.
further south, there's like another New York that's crazier.
Yeah.
I guess not all of it. There's only certain parts that are kind of similar.
Yeah, Florida's completely reversed. It's weird. It's like the further south you go, the more north you go.
Yeah.
I will say Florida's never been like one of the places I've dreaded going on tour
That's good.
at all. Like, shows are always cool there, you know?
Yeah.
I like playing Florida.
Same.
Like, I guess Gainesville is a good
Yeah,
example of like one of those cool stops. Like, where else in Florida do you guys like to go?
Orlando's always been cool.
Tampa.
Tampa's always been
They used to have
cool.
a venue right next to the Tampa skate park. I'm not sure if it's still up, but they let us skate.
I remember
skate
that.
the park for free. That was a really Transitions Art Gallery. If it's open, it probably has a different name by now. I'm sure.
Jacksonville's always been cool.
Yeah. Do you all both skate?
Yeah.
Yeah, our whole band actually skates.
Yeah.
That's cool. Have you all been skating like your whole lives, or?
It's more or less on and off.
On and off, yeah. We're not like great, but we can, you know, we can have fun at a skate park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our drummer can ollie 10 stairs.
He's good. Our drummer's good. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
He's newer to the band, so I forgot that he just ollied a 10 stair the other day. It was crazy.
Yeah.
No big deal.
What's your drummer's name?
Alex.
Alex. That's right. Yeah, and he just came on, right? He's filling in.
He's a member.
Oh, he's a member now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He joined. No, you're good. He joined in the fall.
Okay.
We did have fill-ins for a long time. Lots of fill-ins. So, yeah. No, Alex joined in like October, I think.
Nice. But where did he come from? Do you guys?
We played shows with his band like years ago when he was like really young. He's from New Hampshire. And John, our bass player, stayed in touch with him because they're both audio engineers. And then Alex has filled in for us on guitar, bass, and drums.
Oh.
And it was kind of coming down to like, we need a permanent drummer, and he's a great drummer. And I was like, would you want to do this? And he was like, yeah. Let me finish school. So we waited for him to finish school, and then
It worked out.
Yeah, what do you guys do during the day? Like, what are your day jobs?
Well, I've been working at a restaurant for like 4 years, and right before this tour, I quit because I had so much touring lined up this year, and it was mentally not doing good things for me. So now the tour's canceled, and probably our future tours will be canceled. So I'm gonna go back home and find a new job. Hopefully something super good. If anyone's listening out there, I'm very hireable. Can lift heavy things and solve complex equations.
and willing to move to Valdosta.
Willing to move to Valdosta, question mark.
Preferably somewhere else, but just wherever there are jobs available.
Yeah.
Give you a shout.
I live in New York City, and I fix medical equipment part-time. I work like the front desk at an office sometimes too, and both jobs are pretty flexible for touring and stuff, so I'm pretty lucky. But I'm also about to probably not go back to New York City for the next 2 weeks because I sublet my apartment for this tour, and I can't really kick that person out. So I'm just gonna stay with my mom in Rochester, I guess.
It really complicates things, this whole virus stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep seeing like now that we're kind of thinking, oh, maybe we should go home. I keep seeing like things from bands that are still on the road, and I'm like, oh, they're still out there. Maybe I should be. And like I saw like one band being like, we all had to sublet our places, so we can't go home. And I was like, oh man, that's me. Maybe I should.
Never give up.
But I can crash at my mom's house for a bit. So
Yeah. So what do you guys have like coming up? Like any plans for releases, tours, anything?
tours are pretty up in the air right now.
Right.
We were supposed to do a thing with Origami Angel in May.
Oh, cool.
Which would have been,
Yeah.
which will be cool if it happens.
I
if
hope
it doesn't, it will get postponed and we'll still do it. And yeah, we have that EP coming out. We have a bunch of announcements in store for that, like who it's coming out with, and like the music video, like we talked about, will come out. We are doing Fest again. Yeah.
Cool. And people can find your music everywhere.
Well, yeah, and everywhere, and we'll be back on the road as soon as it's possible.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I hope you guys come back to Valdosta.
Same.
We will, for sure.
Good. Yeah, sweet. Alrighty. So I guess, do you have anything else?
I'm good, I think.
Alright, cool. Well, this has been Off the Record with Taking Meds.
Thanks for having us.
Oh man, were you talking to me just now? I don't see anyone else. I'll take a swing on you in my apartment. Don't remember your cell. Pass me on the right this morning. Tire iron to mirror. No paperwork filed. Just car horn ringing in my ear. After a moment, turn the car.